Finally, it's preview season. We did it, everyone. We survived the long, hard 2 weeks since our last preview season, and now we reap the reward. Bloomburrow, the set's so good it'll make you forget all about Assassin's Creed. Not that high of a bar to pass, but it's a great set. I am legitimately excited for Bloomburrow. Though I guess Duskmorn previews will probably start in a couple weeks after Bloomburrow releases, and then that's all we got a couple weeks. This video will explore the best new Bloomburrow cards for the 99 of your Commander decks. Now, while Bloomburrow is positively overflowing with powerful legendary cards to serve as your commander, and I have a few in particular that I cannot wait to brew up, I want in this video to only talk about the best cards for the 99 of your Commander deck. I know I say this for a lot of sets these days, but it feels like it's only getting more true with each passing set. There are just so many good cards for Commander in Bloomburrow that it was legitimately difficult to narrow my list down to only 5. So what are the best new Commander cards from Bloomburrow for the 99? No legendaries and nothing from those Bloomburrow Commander precons either. We're just talking the main set, though I will admit there are some spicy new Commander cards in those Bloomburrow Commander precons. So much so that I'm giving away 12 Bloomburrow Commander precons, a full dozen of them, giving them away on my next Whatnot stream this Friday, July 26th at 11 a.m. Pacific, as well as some other amazing goodies from the set, booster boxes, and you know what? We've got some extra academic deck boxes. These are, of course, at your local game store, but I'm gonna sign some and give them away to people on my next Whatnot stream. 12 of them, 12 Commander decks giving away, plus booster boxes, plus academics signed, and so much more. All you have to do is hang out in the stream with me and maybe you'll walk away with one. Whatnot is an awesome platform that is kind of like if eBay and Twitch had a baby. People sell items in real time on their streams, and there's all kinds of cool shops, categories for collectibles, and of course, awesome places to get Magic the Gathering cards, singles, and other MTG products. When you use my invite code, you get a $15 credit to spend anywhere on Whatnot, including in my own stream, which will have, in addition to other goodies, TCC buy singles playmats, signed cards, and other fun pickups. But spend that $15 wherever you like on Whatnot, on whatever you like, though, buy singles. Just go to www.whatnot.com/invite/Tolarian College to get your $15 credit. Then join me on Friday the 26th for my spectacular Bloomburrow giveaway. I hope very much to see you there, and thank you Whatnot for sponsoring this video. First up, let's talk honorable mention, or rather honorable mentions, because I actually want to cover an entire mechanic that is going to be a really big deal in Commander, not just for this set, but anytime Wizards of the Coast decides to revisit it going forward. And that mechanic is the gift mechanic. The gift mechanic is the latest version of the kicker mechanic. Only this time, the extra cost for kicking the spell is a gift you give an opponent of your choice when the spell resolves before any of the card's other effects. Cards that give an opponent something in exchange for a benefit of your own have always been at their best in Commander, since the multiplayer nature of the format cuts the drawback into just a third of its potency. If you and one of your 3 opponents are both drawing a card, that means you drew a full card in exchange for your opponents as a whole drawing 1/3 of a card on average. That's especially true given that you can choose the player who will least benefit from the gift, or the player you have the strongest alliance with. Several of the gift cards in Bloomburrow provide an exceptional benefit for the drawback. A few of the best gift cards get as much as twice as strong once you gift a card. That's not even hyperbole. Wear Down turns from an ordinary sorcery speed naturalize into 2 sorcery speed naturalizes. Yes, sorcery speed is a bummer in Commander, but Return to Dust has been a Commander staple for years, and this costs half as much. Because the opponent only gets the gift when the spell resolves, you also only have to pay the drawback, or kicker cost, if no one counters your spell, mitigating the worst-case scenario that a mechanic like this could have. You can even use the politics inherent to gift cards to bargain your way into your spell resolving. Simply promise the resident blue mage your spell's gift. A lot of gift cards are stronger than they look at first glance, but my pick for the best gift card in the set is Starfall Invocation. Starfall Invocation is an absurd 5-mana Wrath of God that leaves you with your strongest creature in play, all for the low cost of your opponents drawing 1/3 of a card on average. All right, now on to my top 5 cards from Bloomburrow for your Commander 99. First up on our list will be an immediate auto-include to any green deck built around +1/+1 counters. Innkeeper's Talent is 2 mana for a green class enchantment with 3 excellent levels. For its initial 2 mana benefit, Innkeeper's Talent is a solid early game means of steadily pumping your creatures. For 1 additional mana, your creatures with +1/+1 counters also get Ward 1. And if you pay 4 more mana after that, all counters that get put on you or permanents you control get doubled. That means twice the +1/+1 counters, sure, but it also means twice the loyalty counters, twice the energy, twice the shield counters, even twice the brick counters. Remember brick counters? No? Cards that double the number of counters you put on a permanent are usually very good in Commander. Branching Evolution is a solid card in its own right, after all, but never before has a card that doubles your counters also provided you with counters to double, let alone give your counter-bearing creatures some protection. Innkeeper's Talent is a great card early game, but it isn't half bad later on either. You can just cast it and level it up all the way, given that late game you've likely got a lot of mana available anyway. It's awesome when you're on offense, but it helps shore up your blocking power when you're on the defense, since it doesn't require you to attack with the creature that you're putting the counter on. Honestly, I think all 5 rare talents will be strong in Commander. The white and black talents in particular, both very nearly usurped Innkeeper's spot on this list, but the value to mana ratio on all 3 levels of Innkeeper's Talent makes it my 1 card out of the 5 that is the best for the 99 of your Commander deck. Next up at number 4 is the grumpiest toad this side of Innistrad, Dour Portmage, a 2 mana 1/3 blue frog wizard with whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield and didn't die, draw a card, and you can spend 1 and a blue, tap, to return target creature you control to its owner's hand. I love efficient, powerful, and unique designs like this one that go in a wide variety of strategies. Blink decks want this card. Decks with a lot of enter the battlefield enters effects want this card. Heck, some Wizard Kindred decks might also enjoy this card. They would have to be Wizard Kindred decks that want to blink or bounce their own wizards for some reason, but surely some are out there. That 1/3 stat line is also excellent for a 2 mana card that wants to play toward a long game. In the early game, when you don't have the mana to be activating it, and bouncing a creature with a good, enters ability, you'll appreciate every big-butted blocker you can get your hands on. And Dour Portmage will be happy to oblige. Well, it won't look happy about it. By far the best feature of Dour Portmage's ability is that there's no pesky once per turn clause associated with it. A sweet triggered ability that generates a ton of value and doesn't have once per turn? What is this, 2019? In Days of Commander, your turn 2 of most Commander games was reserved for playing out a mana rock or a bounce land and then passing the turn. These days, cards are much stronger for a lot less mana, so the value of accelerating into the late game is diminished. Why accelerate out a 4-drop on turn 3 when you can just curve a powerful 2-drop into a powerful 3-drop and have a more powerful board presence? Dour Portmage fits perfectly into this new Commander philosophy. It's also a great card to cast on turn 2, and still a great card when you cast it on turn 8. An invaluable trait for a 2-drop to have. As we approach number 3 on our list, I have a question. What do you get when you cross a grape shot with a cute little guy? Why, it's Storm Splitter, a 4 mana 1/4 red otter wizard with haste. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a copy of Storm Splitter. Exile that token at the beginning of your next end step. It's easy to look at this card and think, okay, so it makes a 1-power haste creature whenever I cast a spell. So what? But that's not actually what it does. Or rather, that's what you make from the first spell you cast for turn when this little guy is in play, but the second spell you cast will actually make 2 otters. The third spell will make 4 otters. The fourth spell makes 8 otters. The fifth spell makes 16 otters. The sixth spell makes, do you see what's happening here? Why, I oughter make an exponentially large board of otters in my storm deck. I'm honestly surprised this creature is an otter and not a bunny. Huh? That's a sex joke. Storm Splitter is one of the absolute best storm payoffs Commander has ever seen. It might even take the top spot. This thing is nothing short of a must-kill for your opponents. Dedicated storm decks will have no difficulty building a board of 32 otters on even a middling storm turn. That's powerful enough even if all the otters only have 1 power. Imagine your board after buying back Haze of Rage a few times. And just imagine how big it would get if you had a Harmonic Prodigy in play as well. If Storm Splitter has a downside, it's that it only triggers off instants and sorceries rather than all non-creature spells. It's also 4 mana, which means you'll likely need to untap with it in order to get the most possible use out of it, but come on, don't you think we're splitting furs at this point? So what are the top 2 best new cards for the Commander 99 from Bloomburrow? Well, have you ever wished Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, checked for the number of creatures with a shared type that you have in play, rather than devotion? Well, you're in luck, viewer, with a very specific Magic the Gathering wish list, because 3 Tree City is exactly that, which is why it's my pick for the second best Bloomburrow card for your 99. 3 Tree City is a legendary land that asks you to pick a creature type as it enters play. After naming Merfolk, or I guess a different creature type, you can tap this city for a colorless mana, or you can pay 2 and tap it to choose a color, then add as much mana of that color as you have creatures of your chosen type in play. For those of you who are too young to have ever played with a Nykthos, 3 Tree City breaks even on mana once you have 3 creatures of the same type in play. Every creature of that type you have in play beyond 3 starts contributing more and more mana to your 3 Tree City. This is what's known in the Magic the Gathering strategy business as a snowball effect. There is not a Kindred deck in all of Commander that doesn't want this card. I don't care if you're building a board full of humans, angels, warlocks, lurgoyfs, or even brush wags. You should put 3 Tree City in your deck to cast more of them. 3 Tree City pops off with token makers to flood the board, card draw to keep your hand stocked with fresh creatures to cast, and untap effects to get multiple uses out of the land per turn cycle. Those first 2 categories of cards are already common in Kindred decks, but that last category is a kind of card that's easy to miss. If you're playing that Merfolk deck, for example, consider including a Kiura's Follower for the purposes of untapping your 3 Tree City. A humans deck that touches blue might want a Vizier of Tumbling Sands. Oh, I wonder how many merfolk I'm going to cast off of 3 Tree City in my lifetime. Is that weird, casting fish off of a tree city? You know, but there's a debate of, are merfolks mammals? Are they fish or are they mammals? That's another video. So what is my number 1 pick from Bloomburrow? Well, so much like our honorable mention, my number 1 pick for cards from Bloomburrow for the Commander 99 is actually an entire cycle of cards. Mythic rares, in fact, that push the envelope on modal spells. The Season cycle is a variation on confluences, which are themselves supercharged versions of commands, which themselves are upgraded versions of charms now that I think about it. But whereas confluences ever only allowed you to choose 3 modes, Seasons let you choose as many as 5. Seasons use an internal value system of paw prints to determine which modes you pick and how many total you choose. All 5 seasons have a 1, 2, and 3 paw print mode and let you pick up to 5 total paws worth of modes. All 5 seasons are good enough to see some play in the right Commander deck, but Season of Loss is my pick for the strongest of them by a decent margin. Season of Loss is a 5 mana black sorcery. The 1 paw mode reads, each player sacrifices a creature. The 2 paw mode says, draw a card for each creature you controlled that died this turn. The 3 paw mode reads, each opponent loses X life, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. It's easy to construct a hypothetical scenario where each combination of modes on this card are good. 5 mana to make each player sacrifice 5 creatures is a great rate, especially if you don't have any creatures to sack, or if you have a sacrifice synergy in play that provides you you with a benefit whenever you sacrifice something. Making each player sacrifice 3 creatures and then drawing cards for each creature that died under your control is just redonkulous if you sacrifice 3 expendable creatures of your own. And the 3-paw mode is an excellent finisher in the late game. It even counts creatures you sacrificed to its own ability thanks to the order in which the modes resolve. But even though Season of Loss is my pick for the best of this new cycle of cards, I feel that all 5 of them are going to become ubiquitous in Commander, as they all just bring so much to the table, much like the Bloomburrow set itself, which has brought an enormous number of brand new card designs that are perfect for your Commander 99. But now I want to hear from you. What do you think are the best new Bloomburrow cards for your Commander 99? Remember, we're not talking legendaries and we're not talking those Commander precons. I want to know what goes in the meat of your decks from this new set. Let me know in the comments below. And remember, I am giving away a full 12 Commander precons on my next Whatnot stream this Friday, July 26th at 11 a.m. Pacific, as well as some other amazing goodies. We've got signed academic deck boxes, some booster boxes from Bloomburrow, all kinds of cool stuff and beyond. When you use my invite code to create an account, you get a $15 credit to spend anywhere on Whatnot, including my own stream. We're gonna have so many cool things and I hope you join us. Maybe you'll walk away with one of those Commander decks or booster boxes. It is on the 26th at 11 a.m. on Whatnot and I hope to see you there. Thank you Whatnot for sponsoring this video.
Next time on Shuffle Up and Play.
Welcome to Shuffle Up and Play and our brand new set. Charlie, what do you think of my set?
I think it came out super nice. You're more of an Aerith guy instead of a Tifa guy. That's pretty interesting. It's pretty telling. Hey, my name's Charlie, Moist Critical.
I'm Boxy. I stream Magic on Twitch.
It's me, Krim. You've seen me play on MTG Goldfish.
So I don't play blue. I decided to put this card in, and apparently it's hated by the masses. Somebody called Grand Arbiter Augustine.
You're a real scoundrel. You're a scumbag. I thought this was gonna be a fun game of Magic.
Yeah. If you want to give me a light tap.
It's not a light tap though. It's like a dominatrix like.
Safe word. Safe word. Krim, please can you get rid of the Grand Arbiter?
It is Chun-Li that will kick our faces in.
I will kick your face in.
Yes!
This is chat's fault. I didn't do this.
Yeah, blame chat, all right.
Yes, this is chat.